Welcome to Movie Train. Today I will show you a 2017 action-adventure fantasy movie named Valerian and the City of 1000 Planet. Spoiler onwards, let's move on to the explanation. In the 28th century, Earth's former International Space Station begins collaborating with extraterrestrials, who each bring their station and connect it to a space station built by humans. Gradually, it develops into a multicultural city called Alpha, home to millions of species from thousands of different planets. It grew so large that it caused a stir in Earth's gravity, after which the Federation decided to pull it out of Earth's gravity and relocate it into deep space, allowing it to reach more people and grow. Found amid such a large population to maintain peace, a police division has been created by the UHF United Human Federation, 400 years after Alpha was transferred to deep space. The people of the Mole planet live peacefully without any contact with other races, fishing for pearls that contain enormous amounts of energy and using a special animal known as a converter. Repeat them. Until one day, debris begins to fall from the sky, including various small ships and an entire giant spacecraft, which causes an explosion that destroys every creature on the planet. The leaders of the tribe and a good number of their population managed to hide inside one of the ships. But while closing the door and accidentally breaking the lock, the chieftain's daughter Liho escaped. Before the explosion takes her away, she releases her soul in a wave of energy, hoping to pass on their message. The wave of energy reaches Valerian, the head of the UHF, who was taking a nap on a holographic beach in his ship. He travels with fellow Sergeant Laureline, whom he loves and wants to have a relationship with, but she keeps turning him down because she considers him a feminist with commitment issues. He tells her about his dream, which Laura thinks is a joke. He asked Alex, the ship's eye, to scan his brain and he confirmed that he had found external waves that could come from the present or the past, and from anywhere in the universe. The two travel to the planet Kyrian, where they receive a message from the defense minister, who tells them to save the last converter of their species and take it to Alpha for a top-secret operation. They both go on missions and before leaving they change their clothes so that they look like tourists. They meet Major Gibson and his team who will assist him during this mission. Valerian will be infiltrating a virtual market and meeting Laura at a drop point to make the transfer, but before they begin, Valerian asks Laura to marry her as proof that he is not afraid of commitment. Laureline doesn't take him seriously though and sends him off without a response other than a kiss on the cheek. The larger market is in another dimension, so Valerian must wear a special helmet and gloves to access it. Once inside, he breaks the rules and enters an area where humans are not allowed to meet Sergeant Cooper, who gives him a pair of glasses for this helmet to reach another dimension, as well as attaches a gun to use it in a cube. Quickly scanned of his body to make him invisible, the undiscovered Valerian enters a shadowy shop where Bhagwan is trying to sell a converter to two aliens who look like his dream species in exchange for those special pearls. Bhagwan is greedy and demands more, and since they cannot reach an agreement, everyone present draws their guns at each other, including Valerian, therefore revealing his presence behind the gun. Meanwhile, Laura leans in and the team goes behind the wall around the market and shoots the guards in the watchtower with a special gun that allows them to gain control of her every move. He then drills a hole in the wall so that Laura can go through it and meet Valerian at the drop point, with a special box activated next to him, making him appear in another dimension. Once she's put the converter in the box, Laura deactivates it and drives it back to the van. But another moment waits for Valerian to take the special pearl with him as well. He tries to go quietly, but his floating hand catches the guard's attention, prompting the alien dog to shoot everyone. Laureline notices that Valerian is in trouble and alerts the team, which sends Cooper for backup and is also attacked by the dog. Valerian manages to escape from the store, but the box pad is broken and he cannot leave that dimension. A guard finds him roaming the market and shoots a series of magnetic metal balls behind him that attach to his box with so much weight that he sinks through a manhole. He lands inside an arcade where he finds a small alien child with a toy gun. Valerian seizes this opportunity and gives one of the magnetic balls to the kid and asks the alien to shoot him when that kid shoots the ball. All other spheres follow the first one. Valerian is now free of that extra weight and can stand again, but he accidentally makes the baby cry and ends up with one parent following him to the market. He runs until he collides with Laureline, who fixes the box right before the guard and the dog finds Valerian again. Their troubles are not over, someone leaves an alien creature behind them. The two run out of the market as the aliens under their control shoot to keep the creature away until everyone is back in their vehicle. As they escape, jumping onto their van, the monster easily catches them, so the team fires at the creature. Valerian calls Alex to get his ship so that he can escape. When the ship approaches, Laura escapes through the window and jumps safely into her ship. The creature follows them and jumps on it and only slips and falls when the ship accelerates to go into space. While Laura puts the lean converter into the treatment capsule, Valerian tells Alex to analyze the pearl, which reveals that it has a lot of power. They both go to Alpha where they get a VIP pass because they brought the converter. They meet Jane Rolando Barr, who tells them about a radioactive field discovered in the middle of the station. They have sent drones and special troops, but no one has come back alive. The area is contaminated and growing every day, so they need to finish it before destroying the entire station. Commander Arun Filitt then arrives with his army of K-Trans droids, which he will take with him to his meeting with the Security Council, but a call from the Defense Minister forces him to take on Valerian and Laura as his bodyguards. Before leaving for the meeting, though Philip stops to check on one of his captors, it is an alien from planet Mu who is being tortured for information. The commander reaches there and orders him to die. He also reminds his patrons what to do if the operation doesn't go well. Laureline brings the converter to the meeting because Philip wants to take it as a potential bargaining card, but he refuses to hand it over to her, keeping it safe. Valerian enters the room with Philip while he tells the council about the contamination problem, and Laureline waits outside guarding the door. Then suddenly 3 little aliens come there. Laura asks them about the planet Mullen. They classify it as a sensitive topic given that Major Samp was an expert but died under mysterious circumstances 3 years ago. They also say that the mercenaries will try to steal the converter just before the alarm goes off. The attackers are going through the walls and neither the council nor the I can see them when the command room officers try to evacuate. They find that there is no power and they are locked up. Laura and Valerian try to get the commander out safely, but then the debar explodes and a group of aliens appears and fire at everyone with a pulp, leaving everyone covered in a cocoon. Valerian notices this and puts a capsule in his mouth before covering up. And after a few minutes, the aliens take a cocoon and run away. When the aliens leave, the spider comes out of the droid that cuts the cocoon and Valerian comes out of the cocoon. Next, he rescues Laureline and gives her his knife so he can save the others while he goes after the aliens. Power returns to the command room and Laureline tracks Filitt in on the screen in their captors who instruct Valerian through the communicator. The only way to reach them quickly is through the wall. So Valerian breaks through one with his suit and passes through dozens of different environmental zones until he is picked up by Alex in his ship because the aliens have also boarded a ship. A swift chase ensues and Valerian fires at them, but the enemy ships simply split into hundreds of smaller ships. Valerian follows what they think Felicity is in, but her ship is too big to be with her through the narrow paths she takes, so she takes the Skyjet instead. Its hook captures enemy ships and follows them wherever they go. He does not know how to stop that ship and settles in the dead zone, so he loses contact with Laura. Laura wants to go to rescue her, but General Barr refuses and orders his men to stop her. Before she leaves, Laura asks the general, "Why are there aliens from the destroyed planet here? And why did they spare the life of the council? If they are so dangerous, someone is lying to them." After that, Laura is taken from there. The general becomes suspicious and examines the planet Mull on the database and discovers that he too cannot access that level of classified information. When leaving the command room, Laureline tells the guard that he should put on handcuffs so that he can run away. When the guards are about to wear handcuffs, only then does Laura starts hitting them and beats them so much that they are both faint. She then meets Dickie, a Dogan, and escorts them to Valerian's exact location. Together they go to see Bob, who is about to take them on some special fishing. Lore, a Cortex jellyfish, boards a submarine that takes her deep underwater in search of Bromo that carries the giant creatures on its back. Bob uses the submarine's special claws to pull the jellyfish out of Bromosaur, which proves to require more than a strong pull to enrage the creatures. 3 Bromosaurs started chasing them through the water, but the submarine was too fast so they managed to escape from them. Dogan, Dickie explains to her that she should put the jellyfish on her head and show her what she wants. But he should not do it for more than a minute or else it will start affecting his memory. Laura follows Lee and his instructions and pushes her limit to stay under the jellyfish for 1 minute 10 seconds until she sees the Valerian location, a sign that says L630. SL neutralized what was confirmed to be Dogen's level at 630 East when she went to the rescue. His companion the Dogen agrees go to see General Barr and fills it in to sell information on alien hostages he has hidden. He immediately arrests all the men involved in his interrogation and tries to get them to help the old man, but he detonates his body to send a message, as it did after the princes told the Barr that they are attacking them because the UHF has what they need. When his assistant Sergeant Neza runs the aliens' DNA through their database, they discover that the species is not there, meaning they never existed or that someone removed them from their files. The lore 630 comes in stand level. After walking carefully across a rocky area, he sees Valerian lying unconscious on the ground. She wakes him up with special medicine and after a silly argument. Later she starts catching butterflies. But she doesn't know that not all butterflies are real. There is some bait, and when she touches one without knowing it was caught by a primitive tribe, the Gora planet bats, and takes it to their restricted area. Valerian touches a butterfly on purpose, so he's out too, but he shoots his captor and hides behind a wall as he gains contact with Alex. The only way without going inside would be to find the glamour pod. Now that Valerian is out of the dead zone, the UHF can track him down again. The guards are told not to hurt him, just to get help, so it's easy for him to threaten an officer and take a special invisible gun from him before he can chase and enter Paradise Valley. Girls with different human names are offering their services on the street. But Valerian goes to a special club and asks Jelly for a pin for a glampod, a type of alien that can shape change as she pleases. Jelly takes Valerian to see the bubble show, which is a constantly changing dance, and after she is done, Valerian pulls out his gun, pulls out Jelly, and makes a deal with Bubbles, which is illegal in the migrant. If she helps him find Laura, they obtain her illegal pass and accept freedom from Club Bubble and take them away, hiding Valerian and Jelly's bodies and turning them into Jolly. It's the same trick they use to enter the area where Laura is captured on Bubbles, just to turn into a blanched batter. Meanwhile, Laureline tries to communicate with her captors to no avail. They keep showing her clothes just to make her choose one. She ends up with a large white cap with a hole in the top of her head and is placed in a row of servants who are carrying food for their emperor, and Valerian is also entombed. Emperor doesn't like any food, so he skips the line and sees Laureline, and takes her turn from behind the guard. Laura goes there with a lemon, which the emperor squeezes over her head and then pulls out a special tool to crack open her skull. Then Belgium attacks the servant with a pot, after which all the aliens start fighting with him. He defeats everyone and cuts off the head of the chieftain. The now free Laura also steals a sword from a body, and with Bubbles they help Laura and fight off the guards, but they just keep coming. Valerian decides on a quick plan. Then he grabs Laura's hand and pretends to be charging, but they fall inside a manhole and into a new area with Bubbles. Back in the command room, General Barr talks with a defense minister and demands to fill in his secret files, which he receives after some hesitation from the minister. The file on Planet Mole says that it was destroyed by accident during a war and that the planet was not inhabited, which is simply a lie. When trying to find out who was in charge of such a disastrous operation, Barr, he is again classified. The second thing that is starting to bother him is the constant presence of the Guardians, who have been programmed by Filitt and only he can send them away. Valerian and Laura fall into a giant trash can, revealing that Bubbles is hurt during the fight. Her last words to Valerian are asking her to take good care of Laura before her body becomes dust. The doer starts wandering here and there. Although Valerian swears he knows where he's going, or at least kind. He confesses that the spirit of the princess that has been inside him has always been guiding him. They end up inside the dead zone. But nothing happened to them. The danger of contamination has always been alive, Valerian. Thanks, Phil. It knows what's really behind the wall of glory. It is the mole people who are expecting them. They are met by leaders who proceed to tell them what happened on that fateful day years ago, after the great explosion. They wandered through space for many years, saving everything they found in the ship they ran into and learning all the science in its database to restore it. One day they are picked up by scrap dealers, who eventually sell their goods to Alpha Station, and they hide here while gaining more knowledge and building a new ship that allows them to rebuild their home on a new planet. We'll give the only thing they're missing is a converter and a pearl, which is why they hire them to steal it so Filitt can't find them. Sadly, Valerian and Laureline mess up the plan. Now that they know their story, the aliens are confident they will do the right thing and wake up Filitt, who immediately tells Valerian and Laureline to arrest mole people, telling them they are lying and when they fight. The planet was not inhabited then. In area. They don't buy it though. They have already guessed what happened. It was the soldier of the day, and he decided to send the missile regardless that there were people on the planet. Afterward, he had only one thing to do, which was to destroy all the evidence. This is why when mole people revealed himself to Alpha he killed the lead sand and created a contaminated area. Phil leaves and admits it is true, stating that he did this to prevent the humans from losing their credibility and influence and Alpha, before ordering Valerian to arrest the leaders. Valerian doesn't listen and punches him before gifting it to the aliens. Laureline also wants to give him a converter. But Valerian points to the protest, saying it's government property, only to change his mind when Laureline says that's the reason she doesn't want to marry him. He doesn't understand love. As a thank you for allowing him to do this, she finally kisses him on the lips. General Barman and Kay trains to the other side of the Wall of Glory and confirm that there is no contamination before planning a set of explosives. Meanwhile, the mole leader feeds the pearls to the converter, eventually building up the energy needed to activate the new vessel they've built, creating a hologram that simulates their old planet. Now his mission is over. May the princess rest in peace, so the leaders remove her soul from the Valerian body. When they hear about the soldiers outside, a group of aliens cross the wall and gently talk to them that they are not harmed. Var sees this and is more convinced of the truth when Valerian and Laureline call him and tell him the full story. But to cancel the procedure, he still needs confirmation from Filitt. The two drag him in and try to talk to him, but instead, he orders him to finish, which Katron obeys immediately. The droids start hitting both the wall and the people in the command room. Did Bar order Neza to stop the countdown? As Laureline keeps punching, filling it in, Valerian crosses the wall to shoot Katron. Neza sneaks in and opens a control room, working directly with the source. He manages to stop the bombs a second before they detonate, and as more people successfully leave Alpha and their new starship, the whole trick is reversed when a few surviving soldiers find it hanging from the ceiling. General Bar asked him to be arrested for his war crimes. While Valerian and Laureline also manage to escape using the service vessel, Mole arrives at Alpha and while waiting to be rescued, Valerian again asks Laureline to marry him. And this time Laureline agrees and the movie ends here. Subscribe to the channel and turn